you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm so sorry about all the technical difficulties
It
with this
happens.
the
I'm
app.
surprised it still happens. We're like a
I
year in.
know. Okay. So did you get a chance to look over those questions?
Briefly.
Okay,
The day
that's
you
okay.
sent
They're
them,
pretty
but then
straightforward.
I haven't like created a draft or anything. So
Okay, that's all good. Well, my name's Jessica. It's nice to meet you through Zoom. I know I'm
nice.
going to be meeting you guys all in person in May when you guys have that event. So
hmm
I'll be there probably doing more interviews, probably shorter ones. Unsure right now.
Awesome. I think you were at the first mentor. Yeah, I remember you.
The one in February. Was it February? Yeah, I
The
was
one
there
with
in
the
the
three
meeting.
panelists.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was fun. It was nice hearing them speak. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start recording. Just a voice memo.
Okay. So these are gonna show up in text format.
Yes, it's on the Advising Gen Z on Kristen's blog. So
Okay.
different. I'm trying to get all the members, but a lot of them haven't signed up yet. So we'll see how many we get. I'm gonna try to do all of them eventually. But yeah, it'll focus on one of you guys each time. And
Okay.
yeah, they're a pretty decent amount length. Okay, let's see. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your job role and what a day in your life looks like.
I'm sorry. There was a lot of noise.
Oh, tell me a little bit about your job role and what a day in your life looks like.
Oh wow. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, it can vary. It can vary. If I'm working on the business, that means I'm doing accounting, invoicing, um, communicating with the marketing team. All the legal, financial, all the stuff that you need to keep the business alive and running and functioning. And if I'm working in the business, that means I'm actually in the trenches doing the work. So I'm either designing, talking to clients, drawing the floor plans, doing renderings, showing up at construction job sites, talking to the contractors. Um, so it just depends on, which one I'm doing. So, and if I'm working with the clients, I'm usually in meetings with them, discussing drawings, taking notes, or taking them to showrooms to pick out materials. So it really, really varies. Um, and then, of course, working with the team and communicating with them what they need to do in order to make sure the clients are happy. Um, yeah, and then there's always, small stuff here and there that pops up, you know, uh, like like business credit cards, like one vendor doesn't want to take American Express, so then you've got to run over here and apply for a different one or just pay through debit. So there's like a lot of things that are happening all the time. It's a little bit chaotic.
Yeah. And tell me more about Urban Loop Studio. So it's interior design or just kind of everything?
Yeah, so it's a design studio, and it's a place where clients can come to design their dream home, whether it's from ground up, brand new floor plans, or it's a renovation to their existing home, or just touching it up in terms of like interiors and furniture. So we try to be a one stop shop because it's just easier because some renovations include a little bit of addition or some kind of interior. So we just kind of streamline it, try to create a beautiful experience, a journey for our clients to help them really help make their home more in tune with their lifestyle and who they are, and really reflect an extended version of themselves. The house should show their identity. And so, yeah, so architecture in a way is like ground up residential floor plan, then interior design, and then there's like that in between space where it's either an addition or a renovation or a remodel, something like that.
That's amazing. I don't know much about that, so this is really interesting to me. So is it mostly homes or other like businesses or anything like that?
Yeah, so my background is commercial. So here locally in Dallas, my first project out of school was this 33-acre massive project. It's mixed use. If you're familiar with North Park Mall, it's across the interstate from it. So it has like Whole Foods, Nordstrom Rack, Bloomingdale's. Yeah. So I worked on that for the first 3 years,
Okay.
and you can see this trajectory throughout my career where I start working on smaller and smaller and smaller projects. Um, just because the bigger the project, this you kind of get pigeonholed, just stuck doing one task. And so I thought, if I do smaller, then I'll be able to wrap my brain around it easier and really understand all the different facets of it. So within my design studio, I like to specialize in residential. And then I do like to dabble in some futuristic commercial, but just from a design standpoint. If And it's actually pretty cool. We're launching that section hopefully this year, where it's just the futuristic modern commercial stuff. I encourage you to go check it out. It's kind of very Zaha Hadid-esque.
Yeah. And did you always want to do this when you were young? Were you always kind of like the designer, like had an eye for how things should look
Oh no, I
since
was
you
a total tomboy. I
I love
I I didn't think about what I wanted to do at all. I just wanted to play. I wasn't really focused on testing in school. I just wanted to be outside and play. But towards the end of high school, the typical doctor engineer, uh,
yeah.
I had already gotten in so much trouble at that point in my life. I was like, let me just fall in line now. So my first semester, my major was biology because I thought I was going to be a doctor. Um, but then I had taken this elective called Architecture and Thought, or Architecture and Culture, taught by Marc Blizzard. And in that class just sucked me right into that world. I changed my major that week to architecture.
That's amazing.
And it didn't help that my physics professor was a little bit attractive, so I couldn't focus. There was no way I was gonna pass physics. Mr. Gallagher, he was the guy who invented those glasses. Who in the sunlight they turn into sunglasses. So they're reading glasses, and when the sun hits it, they turn into sunglasses. He had a hand in inventing
Oh,
that, and it was just impossible to focus in that class.
that's amazing. What school did you go to?
So I did my master's at the University of Houston, and then I
Hmm.
did my undergraduate, which I got a Bachelor of Science in Architecture, and that was in the University of Texas system.
Okay, very cool. Okay, next question. What are some of your biggest accomplishments and goals you have for yourself?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, owning my own studio, I think, is a pretty big accomplishment in itself. The demographics of our industry is usually male dominated and usually 50s and 60s of age and up who have what I have. And on the architecture side, on the interiors, you'll see more females. You'll see people who are more, I guess, younger. And so, to be able to do that, because I started that at 32, and I would say that it's rare for me to have done this. And then usually our industry is based off of word of mouth, and I'm trying to, um, you'll never see an ad for design. You'll never see a billboard or Facebook ads or anything like that, unless if um, you're specifically looking at design magazines. And so, to kind of be that person who shows up on Google, to have those reviews and to be able to organically build a reputation. We have 5 stars reviews, which is unheard of, for someone. In the beginning, I had my doubts, but working hard and being persistent about it has really helped me bring this dream to life. So I think that would be a pretty big goal in itself, doing what I'm doing now. Last year, about this time, I was able to, I was invited and selected out of a pool of 180 people to do a TEDx talk. That was pretty
Wow,
amazing.
that's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you. So I think those two things are two goals that I'm very, very proud of as of 2020. Moving forward, the goal for the company is to grow and scale, continue to build and design amazing projects that clients can really be happy with. And I'm excited to see what's next. I have a lot of goals. I have like 5 goals for each segment of my life, but I'm trying to stay focused on the career portion.
Um, this is a later question, but I'm going to ask it now. Did you have trouble with, you said that usually it's the men in their like 50s and 60s that dominate this area. Did you have trouble with like glass ceilings or just men in general in the workplace, feeling like you're the only woman in the room or anything like that?
Of course, of course, of course. There's a lot of that. In the beginning, I would just go in the bathroom and cry, but that wasn't very productive. And taking it out in unhealthy ways also wasn't productive. And so at some point, I had to shift my strategies and just, if you can't beat them, you got to join them. And so, in a way, the best way I can describe it is, I had to become that wolf, and it involved sacrificing a little bit of my femininity. When I speak with people, I come off, people aren't used to, I would say society is very used to women being very kind and soft and gentle. And here I come, this powerhouse. People get taken aback and they don't really know how to respond to me. And I'm mindful of that. I did it, although it makes me a very successful person. I'm aware that sometimes it's hard to really connect with people, and so I have to tone it down a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I would say that's one personal development goal that I'm working on right now. So yeah, the glass ceiling is definitely there. The glass ceiling is definitely there, and I think the way that a woman chooses to handle it definitely matters, because I can tell you that those same people who I experienced so much pain with in my career have also at some point become my biggest allies. Glass half full, glass half empty kind of situation. So how you respond to it definitely pushes that in one direction or the other. And if it means you need to have some difficult conversations with people, then that's just what needs to happen. I've pulled men aside in meeting rooms so many times to have an honest, sincere conversation to understand where they're coming from, and I've earned a lot of respect by doing that.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to your younger self or younger girls?
Life is going to be hard no matter what you choose to do. Whether you choose to do it or not to do it, you have to pick and choose which hard you want to endure. So might as well see how far you can get. For me, my philosophy in life is that I only have one. I know this sounds silly because there's a soap opera named after it. It's called One Life to Live. You literally only have one life to live, and so you become the author of that story. So whatever is most compelling for your story, for your life, the way you want it to be, go after it. Everybody is going to have their opinion about it. It doesn't matter, because you know what? It doesn't fulfill your soul. And for me, I was always, in my early life, I was always one of those people who was approval seeking. Am I doing this right? Can I get some words of affirmation? Can I just hints and clues? And the truth is, nobody else knows about you more than you. Why are you consulting? Why are you leaving the amazing responsibility of your life in other people's hands who don't even have their ducks in a row? Right? Nobody really has all the time in the world to take care of themselves. So then to listen to their opinion just doesn't make sense. So for me, the more mature version of myself learned that it's really important to listen who you listen to. So if it's my mentor or my coach, I'll always listen to them no matter what. whether it hurts or it's easy or it's fun. Uh, and if it's really anybody else, I ask myself, where are they coming from? Are they just in a crabby mood? Do they need a Snickers bar? Are they an expert in this matter? Because I've had plenty of people come to me and criticize me. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you're not even an expert in that. Why would you even think that you're qualified to say something like that? So to be objective and question who it's coming from and what you're listening to, I think really matters if you're someone like me who's approval seeking. So yeah, you have one life. What do you want that story to be? And just go after it no matter what, because I hate to break it to you, life is hard. So might as well come out on the other end being proud of yourself. And that's all that really matters, in my opinion.
I feel so inspired. You were the right color. Like yellow is just like you. You're just so like bright, and you look great, by the way.
Thank you. This is a Rihanna inspired color. I remember she wore this beautiful yellow dress and this magenta lipstick. So I'm totally trying to siphon Rihanna vibes right now.
Yeah, the powerhouse vibes too. Okay, I have a few more questions for you. What are the most important qualities in leadership to you?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think leadership is a very, very important responsibility. It shouldn't be taken lightly. I feel like oftentimes people get this label of leadership, but that doesn't mean you're a leader in everything, right? So I think the first thing about leadership is to know your strengths and play to them. And when it comes to your weaknesses, be responsible enough to say, well, I think you should talk to so-and-so. I think they might know better about it. And some leaders are great at doing that. Some people aren't. They just, have this ego perspective, like, oh, they asked me and I'm a leader and I'm going to answer everything. No, you don't know everything. Settle down. So I think the first thing about leadership is being very in tune with your strengths and weaknesses. And you discover that over time through your reviews at work or just by listening to your peers share, their opinions about those criticisms, the ones you want to listen to. And then there's other easier ways to discover your strengths and weaknesses too, as well as like taking a Gallup test or Strength Finders test. There's so many online. And so I think to be a leader is to really be in tune with your strengths and weaknesses, and then be willing to take up the time to throw the mat back. And what that means is leaders typically have so much experience and so much to give back, and to have the responsibility to prime and show people the ropes, show people the map of how you got to where you got, to create a succession plan within the organization, the company, or at work. And that way you're building leaders along the way. And I feel like some leaders often try to withhold important information because they have this fear that they're going to be replaced. But let's be honest, it doesn't take 10 years as it used to become a master at anything. People are always constantly evolving and changing. And when you have that tenacity, when you have that desire, it's easier to be more giving in terms of knowledge and experience to your mentees. And to create that relationship is really important. And so in addition to that, I would add, to really understand how to connect with your mentees in terms of learning their personality styles, their communication styles, their social styles, even Myers-Briggs, so that you can begin to connect with them in a way that's effective and efficient in your communication with them. So I think being a leader means all those things, knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are, carving out the time to pass the map back and do it in an effective way where you're really connecting with them in the way that they understand information the easiest, So if they're, an audio learner, then maybe you speak to them more. Or if they're a visual learner, maybe you draw something out or create a chart or something. So really trying to find ways to engage and connect with them to pass your knowledge on down, building a legacy, so to speak. And everybody wins, right? the leader gets an opportunity to give back, the mentees get an opportunity to learn, the organization is served well in terms of keeping the knowledge within themselves and creating a very thriving kind of ecosystem, and and being able to give feedback in a way that's very productive, right? So there's a difference between feedback and criticism. If the mentee needs a little bit more help, and then there's a difference between constructive criticism and that's not. So you have to really be careful on how you communicate with them, and it has to always have a positive, how do you say it, the intention should always be with an outlook of a positive outcome, instead of just yelling or putting people down. That's just not productive. So you want to map out. The way that I see it is like, when I have a mentee or someone I need to train, I need to ask myself, where are they right now? And in my history, what are the steps that I had to take to get to where I'm getting? So you're almost like mapping out a cookie trail almost, right? Connect the dots and share with them the information that they would need to get to that next step. Share with them the information that they need to get to the next step. And that's, to me, how I visualize it in terms of how to communicate with them. And in a nutshell, just shedding light on the situation so that everyone can see and be enlightened and understand and know what to do next. I think leadership is a wonderful responsibility, and it should not be taken lightly.
That was great. Okay, one more question. What would you want people to take away from you or your example? You kind of answered this one, but like, if you were mentoring somebody, what would you want them to learn from you? Or what would you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, I have a few goals. One of the things that drives me is that I've always wanted to be the mentor that I've never had. And so for me, what that means is that I seek to inspire others. I seek to empower others. And if I can make them laugh, that's a bonus. So those are my goals. What was that?
You've made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, because I think, life can get pretty hard. And if you're being serious the whole time through it, it's can get pretty boring. So for me, that's what I'm always looking for. When I'm looking at mentors and looking to be inspired, I'm looking for inspiration, empowerment, and some fun along the way. And if I can become that, then, if those are the most important things, then that's the only thing I can give back.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That concludes all my questions. You are so lovely to speak with. I'm so glad I met you. I know I'm going to be meeting you all again soon, but it was so nice to meet you. I think that's it.
Awesome. It was nice meeting you too, and I look forward to seeing you in person. Will I see you at the next one? I think there's something.
The one in May?
I forgot what date it was, but
I think so. I think that's the one.
Very cool. Thank you.
Nice. I'll see you later.
Nice to meet you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.